Hello, and thank you for joining me today for the San Antonio Youth Literacy Campus Site Director Training. Today we'll be going through a short overview of the Reading Buddy program, the details of what our campus site directors do, and the importance of their role to San Antonio youth literacy. If you have any questions about the material we go over today, feel free to reach out to one of our SAYL staff members so we can help you promptly. The three goals of our Reading Buddy program are 1. To provide opportunities for guided reading practice with a caring individual, 2. To foster students' enjoyment of reading, and 3. To enhance the motivation and self-esteem of at-risk children through the experience of reading. So how do we accomplish those goals through our program? At its core, the SAYL Reading Buddy program is in place to provide one-on-one tutoring for second graders who are reading below grade level, with the intention of preparing their reading skills for third grade. Our Reading Buddy volunteers meet with 2 students for 30 minutes each, 1 time per week, throughout the school year. This core of volunteers is made up of caring community members, corporate partners, faith-based partners, and local university and college students who have attended the Reading Buddy training created by SAYL and have passed a school district background check. These volunteers work with students at their Fontes Pinnell reading level, or its equivalent, to provide guided reading practice unique to each student's needs. A campus site director is a staff member designated by the school to assist with facilitating the program. Here are some of the main responsibilities of a site director. At the beginning of the year, the site director sets up a meeting with the second grade team. At this meeting, teachers and staff should coordinate the days and times that should be made available for Reading Buddy tutoring sessions. Secondly, a site director should ensure that all participating teachers fill in the student priority list. Thirdly, the site director should find a place to store the trunk of materials on campus, if applicable. And lastly, they should find a space for the tutoring sessions to take place, either for virtual or in-person sessions. Throughout the year, the site director has other responsibilities. Site directors act as a point of contact for SAYL and the school's teachers and staff. Site directors also ensure that the beginning of year, middle of year, and end of year data on reading skill testing is up to date for each student. Site directors are also in charge of informing the SAYL program managers of any field trips, testing dates, or any event that might make students unavailable for regularly scheduled tutoring. Also, site directors may be required to assist Reading Buddy volunteers on campus with school-specific questions when available. Meeting with the second grade team. This meeting should be a brief meeting to introduce the program to any new members of the second grade team, as well as to discuss times and days. Many teachers and staff are already familiar with the program but may need a refresher on the details. Ideally, this meeting would occur at the beginning of the school year to ensure the smooth entrance of volunteers for the year. During this meeting, you may try to coordinate days and times for volunteer sessions. A broader availability of times and days that are available for volunteers, the more volunteers will be able to assist your school students. When considering days and times for volunteer sessions, ensure that the blocks are at least an hour, so volunteers may seamlessly tutor with 2 students for the entirety of the 30-minute sessions. Ensure that the times and days work for all of the second grade team. Also, ensure that there are not important, regularly scheduled activities or events during those times in the designated tutoring area. If there are any scheduling conflicts with individual students receiving other school services, communicate those to SAYL on a case-by-case basis. Once the times and days are established, ensure that you are able to commit to those times for the duration of the school year. Slight changes in times could cause volunteers to be unable to commit to those allotted times. Here are some important considerations when identifying students for the Reading Buddy program. Students who have conducted a reading skills assessment, such as the Fontes Pinnell or their equivalent, at the end of first grade and received an instructional level of D through J are eligible for the Reading Buddy program. The student priority list will dictate which order students are matched with volunteers. As more volunteers are ready to begin volunteering, they will be matched with the students starting with the students with the most need. Updating the student priority list throughout the year can help us identify which students are improving, which students are new to the list, and which students may no longer need our program services. Site directors will be provided an Excel file template for the student priority list. To create a student priority list, first obtain the end-of-year first grade Fontes and Pinnell scores, or their equivalent. Place the students on the list with their student ID, teacher name, and room number, starting with the student with the lowest reading score. List only the students with Fontes and Pinnell scores equivalent to D through J. If your school uses a different scoring system, please reach out to SAYL staff for assistance in converting those scores. If students move or leave the school for any reason, SAYL can use this list to assign volunteers to another student. Data for testing throughout the year will be added to this list, as well as any new students that meet the program's criteria. We ask that any dual language or bilingual students in the D through J range be included on this list. Currently, our program cannot guarantee dual language or bilingual volunteer reading tutors, but if a volunteer does become available, we want the chance to provide a volunteer for those students. Also, when submitting the SPL, please add notes to the email about an academic or social factors not reflected in testing that would affect the student's priority on the list. Here is an example of the Fontes and Pinnell data sections on the student priority list. Again, if your school does not use this scoring system, reach out to SAYL for assistance. Any not applicable sections for your scoring system can be left blank. As we begin the program, we'll provide you with the SPL template and instructions and follow up with each site prior to the deadline. For site directors to receive this data, site directors can either ask the second grade teachers to send classroom data directly to the site director to input on the SPL template, or the site director can ask that the data be sent directly from the classroom teachers to the SAYL program manager. If you choose the second option, please reach out to the SAYL program manager letting them know to expect data from your classroom teachers. So why do we need data? SAYL uses data first and foremost to identify students with the greatest need for our program. We use that data along with the discretion of the school's teaching professionals to identify which students receive our services. Also, at the end of the school year, we like to give the Reading Buddy volunteers an idea of how their students have progressed throughout their time together. Lastly, we keep track of the data for our program to show current and future partners, donors, and volunteers the impact of education, reading, and the Reading Buddy program have on our students and the community. Now let's touch a little on the materials for the program. These materials are stored on campus in the trunk or digitally online through the school's library resources. The SAYL Reading Buddy trunk has all the program material required to conduct Reading Buddy sessions. This trunk is required to remain in one designated place on campus to ensure that volunteers and staff can always find it. It is up to the discretion of the school whether the trunk should be locked. Each trunk is equipped with a lock whose lock combination is 2, 3, 4. Another important element of the Reading Buddy experience is the tutoring space. The tutoring space should be available during the selected tutoring times and days. It should be quiet with limited distractions and should be accessible for students and volunteers visiting from the second grade classrooms. Another courtesy we ask of our site directors is that they make themselves available to Reading Buddy volunteers during tutoring times, as their schedule permits. Another helpful tip is to ensure that administration or front desk staff are aware of the program and able to assist Reading Buddy volunteers if issues arise. Proactive communication is helpful when campus-specific events, testing dates, field trips, early release days, or otherwise will conflict with the regularly scheduled tutoring times. With enough notice, we hope to be able to inform volunteers of when students will not be available to volunteer on their scheduled day. We also encourage our site directors to reach out to us with any concerning behavior on the part of our volunteers. If you notice a volunteer behavior is disruptive to the school, student, or staff, please contact us immediately so that we may address those concerns. Additionally, if you prefer to communicate through a different form of communication like email, phone call, text, or otherwise, please let us know so we know how best to get a hold of you. Take a moment here to pause the video and review some of our frequently asked questions. The next steps to getting started with the Reading Buddy program at your school is to provide tutoring times and days appropriate for the second grade team's schedule. Complete the student priority list and send that list to the SAYL program managers with at least the end of year first or beginning of year second grade reading scores. Thirdly, set up a meeting with the second grade team to discuss the program and address any concerns. During that time, SAYL staff will continue to prepare our volunteers for your campus. We will do this by ensuring that all volunteers are trained and pass a district background check. Upon receiving the student priority list and days and times, we'll begin the process of matching those volunteers with students at your campus. Thank you so much for taking time to view the SAYL Site Director training. If you have any questions regarding the material or the program, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're excited for you to be a part of the program, and we thank you for all you do.